Hey you guys, it's Kendall here with Ask Me Anything. I had a great question this week from Kristen, and she asked me a really fantastic question about if it fits your macros. So really quick, I'm just going to talk about what if it fits your macros is. If it fits your macros is kind of a dieting philosophy or a dieting principle that says you can eat whatever you want as long as it fits into your specific calorie and macronutrient profile that if it fits your macros will create for you. So if you want to go eat pizza and donuts and frozen yogurt one day, if it fits within your macronutrient profile, meaning your specific number of proteins and carbs and fats for the day, if you're still within those limits, you can eat all that and you can still see results. So Kristen's question to me is, Kendall, I see you eating pizza and I see you eating Cheerios and occasionally having a glass of wine. How are you a proponent of if it fits your macros, and how are you fitting those kinds of things in throughout the day? Well, for me, no, I do not do if it fits your macronutrients. For me, honestly, and for most people that I work with, I do not do if it fits your macros. I will provide my clients with a calorie and macronutrient profile that I hope that they are striving to work towards. But for me, if it fits your macros is not really the place where I want to be pushing my clients to go. But I'll start off with some of the things that I do like about if it fits your macros. If it fits your macros really was birthed out of the dieting industry and people just being burnt out and tired of restrictive diets that made them feel awful, that made them feel guilty when they went and had pizza or when they went and had cake at their kid's birthday party. It was making people honestly a little bit neurotic and a little bit crazy. And so somebody came along and was like, look, as long as we eat the specific amount of calories, this specific macronutrient profile, you can still lose weight or gain weight, whatever your goals are, and see results if you just stay within these limits. And part of that is true, yes and no, but there's also another side to the equation. There's also the health side to the equation. And as a nurse and then also as a personal trainer, I have to actually look at it from both sides of the equation. If I am advocating for my clients to go out and eat pizza and donuts, and I look at what they've been logging and I'm like, oh great, you've stayed within your macronutrients, even though you've had a hot dog and you've had chips and you've had ice cream and pizza and Cokes all weekend, but hey, you stayed on track with your calories. As a health professional, I really can't get behind that. I love the idea that it takes the guilt out of dieting, which I think is what we all should be working towards, is finding that place where we don't feel guilty about what we're eating. And I'll get into that in a little bit, but there are health consequences to eating those types of really high carbohydrate, really high fatty foods very often. And so, no, I'm not an advocate for if it fits your macros. I think it's a good starting place for some people because they honestly don't know how many calories they should be eating. A lot of women are actually under eating. Once they start logging, they realize how little they're actually eating because we've been so used to the normalization of the kind of diet style of eating. And so when women start logging their foods, they actually realize that they're most of the time under eating to some degree or another. Usually that's in protein. Most women do not get enough protein. And so if it fits your macros is a really good way for people to start kind of being aware of how many calories are in foods, how to maybe compensate some foods for other foods. And so that's it's a good conversation started. But I think that, like I said, there are some health consequences when people think that they can still eat that way and remain healthy. Now, are you going to actually get leaner and get the amazing results that you want by eating, pizza and donuts and drinking Coke almost every single day or several times a week, even though you stay within your calories and your macronutrients? Are you going to get lean? Are you going to see results? No, not likely. I mean, you may lose weight, but are you going to have the lean, toned, muscular physique that you want? No, and that's one thing that I don't really like about If It Fits Your Macros is it kind of is misleading to a certain degree. And so for me, and what I really strive to do with my clients is to teach them how to be a lot more conscious about the food decisions that they're making, and that involves not feeling guilty. And one of the things that I really advocate for with my clients is you make the decision before you go into a restaurant, before you have a meal, what you're going to have, because you want to be consciously making the decision. This is what I'm having tonight, and you want to own the experience. You want to own the decision because you do not want to walk out of that restaurant or walk away from dinner feeling guilty for what you ate. And so for me, if I know that I'm going to have pizza or if I am going to have a glass of wine, that means that I tailor the rest of my day, my breakfast and my lunch, and I limit carbs. I drink a ton of water. I eat a ton of protein and I eat a ton of produce. And then I keep my carbs around the time that I work out. And so that's one of the ways that I am very mindful about what I eat and when I eat. So I am not just picking up food whenever I want and then feeling guilty. It's like, how sometimes you open your pantry and you see the cookies and you're like stuffing your face before you even realize what you're doing. And then you're like, oh my gosh, suck. I just ruined all my progress. That's one of the things that mindful eating can help you get away from. It's consciously making those decisions. And being strategic about when you make those decisions. And so that's one of the things that I think is really appealing about If It Fits Your Macros is it takes some of the guilt away that we have just been saturated in because of the dieting industry, because we've been so used to these restrictive diets that If It Fits Your Macros comes along and it's almost just like freedom. And for me, the kind of diet that you should be following is one that you enjoy and that you can see yourself doing long term. And so for me, you guys know pizza is one of my non-negotiables, so it's going to be in my diet. Doesn't mean I am pro If It Fits Your Macros, but pizza and wine, to me, are two of the things that I am not negotiating on. It's going to be a staple in my diet, usually once a week or whenever. I don't put a limit on it, but it's something that I love, and I'm not willing to give it up. So I make it work within my diet. I adjust my diet, and I make those conscious decisions, and I don't feel guilty when I eat pizza because I know I planned for it. I made room for it. I made space for it in my diet. So there you go, Kristen. That's my take on If It Fits Your Macros. Thank you so much for the question. Again, you guys, if you have any sorts of questions for me, you can email me or you can Facebook message me. I would love to answer your questions here on Ask Me Anything, or you can check me out on my website, Kendall E. Johnson. I have a ton of new blogs up. You guys can check those out, and hopefully I'll talk to you guys soon. All right, bye.